I rise to speak today about the Planning and Development Amendment Bill 2017, which I'll talk to three distinct parts of it. Firstly, it provides a planning assessment framework for the storage of hazardous materials. Secondly, it allows for a development application proponent to apply for an environmental significance opinion, or ESO, from the Planning and Land Authority when the proposal relates to a contaminated site. And if the authority provides an ESO stating that the development will not have a significant environmental impact, then the proposal is removed from the impact track. And thirdly, the amendments require that all draft variations to the territory plan be referred to the Planning Committee. So you can see from those three distinct areas that the bill covers a wide range of information. We will be supporting the bill today, although we have a couple of amendments, and I believe the Minister is also circulating a couple of minor amendments which we will also be supporting today. So currently, talking about the storage of hazardous materials, under the current planning assessment framework, the storage of dangerous substances might commence on a site without the need for a planning assessment and approval. For example, a warehouse may move from storing bottled water to storing some dangerous substances without the need for any information to be kept or provided to the planning authority. So the Planning and Land Authority wouldn't necessarily be notified of the commencement of storing dangerous substances, and that type of activity doesn't fall under the planning assessment framework. Under the changes proposed in this amendment bill, Access Canberra will maintain a register of dangerous items so that each block can be assessed, and all holders of dangerous substances will have 6 months to get their premises onto that register. We did ask during the briefing from the Directorate about whether there would be an audit to ensure that all dangerous substances are registered, but we were advised that there would not be an audit. So how the compliance activity will take place will be interesting to follow. We were also advised during the briefing that the rules would not be retrospective. So my understanding from that briefing is that this amendment to the Act has come about of the recommendations from the Lloyd's review into the Mitchell chemical fire in 2011. And the review was released 4 years ago in 2013. So it does beg the question, Madam Speaker, why it's taken 6 years after the fire, or 4 years since the report, to enact these changes. The second part of the bill provides for a more flexible approach when considering development proposals on contaminated sites. And the bill allows for a development proposal involving contaminated land to be removed out of the impact track if the Planning and Land Authority provides an environmental significance opinion, the ESO, stating that proposal is not likely to have a significant adverse environmental impact. One of the examples given during the briefing was, for example, a petrol station site, and someone may wish to build on only a small part of that site, which is not where the contaminated area might be. So if the ESO is provided, the development will then be assessed in the merit track, or may even be an exempt development. And as an ESO is less onerous and quicker than an EIS, yet still retains proper and adequate oversight of the environmental impacts, this does seem like a logical measure that we'll support. The change is a change that reduces red tape, allows for businesses and developers to get on with advancing the community where it's appropriate. Thirdly, the bill amends the Act to require that all draft territory plan variations be referred to the Planning Committee. The committee must decide if it will conduct an inquiry into the draft plan variation within 15 working days, and if they do decide to review, conduct the review within 6 months or 3 months if in relation to light rail. And Madam Speaker, there will be some amendments circulated specifically relating to this particular part. We'll talk about that later. I do note, however, that the obligation to refer draft variations to the committee does not apply to technical amendments. And we have seen in the past, Madam Speaker, how technical amendments can be used to sneak things in unknown to the public. The example we've seen more recently is about changes to CFZ land. They're meant to be minor and technical in nature, but the government has a track record in making substantial changes and dressing them up as a technical amendment, to the dismay of some members or many members of the community. Technical amendments could have been included in this particular amendment. Without including them, the government is referring amendments to the committee to say they're consulting without actually consulting on changes that the community believe do make very substantive changes. So I think it's ironic that technical amendments, which are meant to be minor in nature, can be the most substantive but are not referred to the committee. Madam Speaker, I've said in this place many, many times about the need for consultation with the community. And again, in my briefing with the Directorate, I asked them who they consulted with outside of government, but I was told that there hadn't been any consultation taken place. So I'll once again remind the Minister of the importance of communicating with people in the community, by those in the know, those who work in this area, and who may be better placed to understand if there may be unintended consequences of these changes. Despite these minor comments, we do support the bill in the hope that it provides certainty around the storage of dangerous substances, that it reduces red tape, and it allows for better consultation. And I thank the Minister and his Directorate for bringing these changes forward. I'd also like to thank the Minister and his office and the Directorate for their timely and informative briefing and for answering our questions on the matter. And I look forward to supporting this bill and the amendments that are being circulated.
The question is that the bill be agreed to in principle. Mr Rattenbury.